What a world we are living in. What a journey we are on together in America and the world in 2025. Since I last saw you, a lot of things have happened. The Pope has died. Craziness, even more craziness has happened with this intolerable administration that we're under. RFK Jr. has said, he just continues to say stupid things about autism and the like. He wants to have a registry of people, and we all know, I imagine that most people know how that could go very wrong very quickly for a lot of different reasons, and now a lot of people are freaking out, and I believe understandably so. So that's the intro, huh? So I got this journey together, ETB, Elite Trainer Box right there, and the first time I happened upon one was at a card show, the weekend that it came out, and I paid the low price of $80, but I really wanted to get my hands on one. I traded towards it, but I was like, okay, I think this is how I'm going to be able to get it. But then I actually ended up scoring it a couple times with the Poke Notify from Target, so I got it for the MSRP price of $50 or whatever. Now I want to take a moment to recognize this man right here, the ruffian. Can we please agree that this should be called a Limp Bizkit card? At the very least, the Fred Durst card, not to be confused with Robert Durst. He's a serial killer. But Fred Durst is from a band called Limp Bizkit. And I feel like when I see this ruffian here, I don't know anything about Limp Bizkit, but this just feels like Limp Bizkit. So I think we should agree that this is the Limp Bizkit card. Let's go ahead and open this. I like the pretty 90s aesthetic. It's nice. Then we got these guys. Let me do this a little bit. I got those guys. This. And then we have our huge, but we have these pretty purple, so blurry. These pretty purple and teal dice, and our damage counters, and our promo, and the dividers, I guess. Our block of energy, and our sleeves. Cool. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things that have been happening. Okay, because there's just so many. It's honestly hard to pick. And again, my intention for this channel actually, which was just quite funny to me. Anyway, I guess it's kind of an inside joke to me. But one of the things when I was making this channel was that I didn't want to get into current events. That I wanted it to just be historical. Mostly, I teach a lot of different subjects, but mostly historical kind of stuff, and allow people to put together, to connect the dots basically between what I'm talking about and what we're seeing in real life, and just having like random topics. But here's the thing, as a history teacher, I don't know why my phone is having problems with adjusting. Anyway, yeah, I see that. There we go. That's nice and crisp. Okay, so yeah, that was my intention when I started this, was to not even deal with current events and just deal with current events in the kind of normal, or like a passive way, I should say. See, why is it doing? I need it to auto adjust. I'm not sure. If you have any suggestions of how I could fix my camera, please let me know, because I'm not sure what I did wrong. Anywho, the thing is though, social studies teachers, we are known for being problems and like being annoying and fighting back against the administration of our school. It doesn't matter what school it is. It doesn't matter where you are. Okay, so this is our first big-ish card. Doesn't matter. Like, we are notorious for being buttheads. Why? Because we know what the rules are, and we study these stories of people fighting back and fighting for what is correct, what is right. And so we can't really just stand for injustice. We have to like do something about it. I like that card. I haven't seen that one yet. It's cute. That's a vibe. It's a vibe. I made what is going on? Do you have like a bottom grill? What's happening? But I have a page in my binder now that's of vibes. So this beach one is going to go on the vibes page. Nice. Okay, so this is Ends Reshiram. Ooh, sorry. The non-promo, but the promo. Oh, the promo in the booster box, not the booster bundle or the ETB, is Ends Reshiram, but it's a full art. So to continue. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know about all these history stories where people stand up for what's right and then just sit down and shut up when things are happening, right? When we have injustices happening all of the time. Is that the clay art one? I've been trying to put the clay art ones off to the side because I like that too. And artists that I like. That's a cute card. Look how peaceful. That's a vibe too. That's a vibe. And I love this Voltorb. I love Voltorb, but I really like that one. And that's pretty cool looking card. Electrode. Wait, is that different? Oh yeah, Voltorb. Yeah, I collect Electrode and Voltorb. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. Look at that girl. I assume because there's a dress. It's old school, you know. I'll put that off the side. Okay, so what are some things that have been happening? Well, you have the biggest thing, I mean, there's so many big things. But one of the biggest, perhaps, is the tariff thing, which I've already talked about before. But here's the thing. He keeps being wishy-washy about the whole thing. Okay? And then, so it keeps going back and forth and back and forth. That is a high kick. He should be a rocket. If you know what I'm saying, then that could be funny. PP up. PP up. Sounds inappropriate. Sorry, I'm a high school teacher. Sounds like something inappropriate. And I don't really know what they're talking. No, I couldn't know what they're talking about in that situation. Something else, though, in addition to the tariffs, one specific note is that, from my understanding, I guess there was a meeting with like important business people, like the guy, like whoever's in charge of Walmart and stuff like that. Apparently, there was this conversation at, I guess, the White House, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, something like that. And they told Trump, like, there's going to be empty shelves. Like, it's not necessarily about the prices. It is about the prices. But, like, people are going to feel this. Like, it's not going to be what he thinks, what Trump thinks is a tariff, because he doesn't understand the ramifications of his actions. Again, I'm a high school teacher. He's acting, let's go. He's acting like a little baby. Okay, I'm the one opening these children's play cards here. But he's acting like a little butthead who doesn't understand the ramifications, the consequences of his actions. He doesn't understand it. He's impulsive. He is confident. And he's stupid. And you put all those things together, that makes for a lot of damage. And again, if it's a little high schooler, okay, whatever. Like, he's just an idiot. He's just doing whatever. He's a kid, though. He'll learn. Hopefully, he'll live and he'll learn. Oh, great. Okay. Again, I think this is the clay one. So that can go with our non-hollow over there. Reverse hollow. Look at this guy. He's a vibe, huh? Fiesta. He's a party. Okay, last one here. And then let's talk about Pete Hegseth for a second, because this guy also needs to be fired. Remember when Trump used to fire people? Remember when that used to be his shtick? That was literally his shtick. You're fired, right? Like, that was... I like that art. What's up with his arms? They're like floppy. I was going to make a bad joke. I'm not going to make a bad joke. It had to do with that other trainer card over there. Look, that looks fun. Let's go to there. There's all these slides. That's a vibe. That's a vibe. That's a vibe. And that's a full art. Okay. I'll accept that. You know, while we're at it, I think that's not a bad card. Like, I think that's worth a couple bucks. I know that this one, sorry for it being blurry. This one is worth a couple bucks too. That's pretty good. This is an ETB. Man, especially compared to Prismatic Freak. Like, that was bad stuff. But let's open up something else too. What have we got under my desk? I have quite a few things. Let's open up this Iono's Belly Bowl. I should probably wait for... I'll wait for a better... But look, I have this. Because that's a whole video on and of itself. I don't understand why I'm having these problems with my focus of my camera. Okay, let's open up these 3 Surging Sparks. I don't know why I have to manually change my focus on here. Wild. Okay, anyway. Pete Hegseth. Oh, gosh. Again, remember when people used to be fired when Donald Trump thought that they were doing a bad job? Here's my theory, and I think it makes perfect sense. Because if you're like just a normal dude, right? Or let's say a normal person, not even a dude, right? Let's say you're just a normal person and you're the boss, right? And you have people underneath you that you are in charge of and that you hand selected, right? To run certain parts of your organization. You would want those people to do a good job, right? Because you want people to take you seriously. And more importantly, for me anyway, I want people to trust my judgment, right? I want to make good choices. And quite frankly, hiring is really, really important for any job. Who you hire can make or break everything. You need to make sure that you are hiring good people. And if you hire good people, then I do feel like that is a reflection of good judgment. Now, it doesn't mean that, you might accidentally hire somebody who's a butt and just, interviewed very well and they kind of pulled one over on you. I'm not holding that against anybody. But when you hire somebody who's a known drunk, who is just a bad apple, who has very questionable tattoo choices, and I don't mean that in like the art is bad kind of way. The symbols, that's a cool one. Look up Pete Hegseth's symbols of his tattoos, okay? Just come back at me with that, because you might be surprised. Not really surprised, but you might learn a little bit more about this man. This dude is making Trump look like an idiot. But we already knew that, right? But again, it's like, here's the thing. If you're in Trump's position, you're in a little bit of a tight spot. Because if he fires Pete Hegseth, that's a vibe. If he fires Pete Hegseth, that's really a vibe. That's the one. I can stop the vibe check. I can stop collecting the vibe cards. That's the one. That's the one. I'd rather be there than on that beach. The other one. I like the cold one. Latios, Gimme Ghoul, Excadrill, Dialga. Okay, last pack. If Donald Trump were to fire Pete Hegseth, what does that say about Donald Trump from Donald Trump's perspective? It would be that he's made a mistake. Donald Trump will never admit that. He will never admit that. He is a man. He is going to double down like men do, even though he's wrong. Even though Pete Hegseth is actively making a fool out of Donald Trump and his lack of judgment. Again, the better thing to do, I've never even seen what the Esper evolves into. Didn't know that. That's a vibe. There's a lot of beach cards here. Eternitus, Eternatus. Okay, so that was kind of a bust. But there's some vibey cards in there. Wow, this focus. Okay. So, if Donald Trump fires Pete Hegseth, then what he's actually saying is that I made a mistake, that I hired the wrong dude. And this guy, I have been constantly backing him up and being like, oh no, like he's a good dude, like I didn't, or at first he denied him, like Jesus, right? Of like Peter and Jesus. I didn't know who's that guy. I don't know. Not really like that, but like I hadn't heard about the signal thing. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. So again, it's like this catch-22 of being a man and thinking that you're infallible and that your judgment, what you say goes, and that your judgment is, again, infallible. And that's not the qualities of a good leader, because that means that you're just going to run yourself into the ground knowingly and willingly. It's like putting him in charge of an airplane, right? He's not a pilot, but you're putting him in charge of an airplane. And then he's too cocky and ignorant to think, hey, maybe I should get somebody who knows what they're doing instead of a dude who's a drunk and seems pretty cool. Maybe not. Let's maybe not do that. So that was the Journey Together ETB and a little bit of a rant about Pete Hegseth, and I'm really just scratching the surface. Like, I haven't even gotten into like the meat and potatoes here. It's not great. Hey, check these out. This is random, but they're in arm's reach. These totally not related to anything I've been talking about. These are little chips for a video game that's in some countries in Asia, and you put in, like, I don't know how much it costs to play the game. I'll find out what the name is. I think it's Gaola, Gaola or E. You put in a couple bucks, and then you can try to catch a Pokemon. It's like a big arcade game. And then if you catch them, then these chips fall out at the bottom, like it's a prize, and then you can use them in the game. So these QR codes can allow you to play with these Pokemon in this arcade style video game. So I got a bunch of random ones off of Whatnot because I can't help myself. But I deleted the app, so let's see what happens there. So, I mean, when the world is just going in the toilet and everyone, all the other countries who used to be our friends now hate us, and all of our money is being more useless every day, and we are the laughing stock of the world, etc., etc. Not even laughing stock. It's worse than that. Honest to God, like I feel like maybe during Trump's first term we were the laughing stock, and now like people are legit worried. Okay, it's like when your friend is drunk and it's like, oh, that's funny, like whatever, but then they're like Pete Hegseth drunk, right? And they're like drinking on the job. That is a red flag and no longer cute. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that people drink is cute, but you know what I'm saying. That, this time is a bit more serious. So if you weren't paying attention the first time, that's fine. But you should probably start paying attention. So, adios. If you have anything that you would like me to teach you about, actually for real, put it in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Tomorrow I'm going to go to Collecticon in Houston. So I'll be there and check it out. I've never been to a Collecticon, so we will see what's up. And I'm going to bring some stuff so I can buy and trade and sell with some vendors and see what happens. So until then, we will see what happens next.